Good to see you. Good to see you, especially after a win.
Coach, obviously a good second half for the defense. How does Johnny's presence change your approach, in terms of the calls, the coverages, and the blitz packages?
I think it's only one answer to that, man. I think at the end of the day, I think when you look at the scope of just playing football in general, you learn from a very, very, very young age. It's about players. I can remember being in Pop Warner, and we had a little running back on our team. His name was Jannard, and he was the fastest player on the field. He was the most athletic, and if you just got him the ball in any way, he scored. And just like Johnny, it's clear to see that Johnny possesses the ability to change a game, and it's like apparent, right? It's apparent to everybody watching him. It's apparent to him. And I think whenever you have game workers like that on your team, it makes everybody around you that much better. We were fortunate last year because we had 3 of them in the secondary. And having I've been around some talented guys up front. I had the luxury to play with J.J. Watt. I was at NC State with Bradley Chubb, Contavious Street, Justin Jones, B.J. Hill. We had 4 D linemen drafted in 1 year when I was there. Johnny Newton may be, if not the best interior defensive lineman in general I've ever been around. He's that talented, man. And it's no secret. I mean, you guys saw the effect, the impact he had on the game. And anytime you have a player like that, you try to shape the defense around him and kind of let him do his thing, and it works out when you got guys that talented. It's all about the Jimmys and the Joes, man, and he's one of those guys.
I know Ford was going to come back after halftime, but Coach B told us Saturday he went around the defense and said, "You guys are going to get to this quarterback." And he wasn't just talking about Johnny. And what led you guys to feel that way when he was acting like he was pretty comfortable in that first half?
Well, I think it was a combination of a couple of things, right? Like, obviously we had some blown coverages on the back end that were, uncharacteristic of some guys. We had guys play who hadn't played a lot of snaps, and whether it was nerves or whether it was, whatever it was, right, we always talk about being prepared for the moment, and when your opportunity comes, I spoke to the defense, but specifically the secondary on Tuesday and Wednesday, just about being ready when your opportunity comes. And I can remember it taking place late in the season last year, and you have guys who probably don't play as much, and they get to the end of the season, and all of a sudden you got to look down your depth chart and your roster like, who is this guy? He hadn't played much, but it's by necessity because guys are banged up or guys have went down, and we had to throw some guys into the fire, and some of them responded well and some guys didn't. Right? I think Clayton Bush was a guy who responded extremely well. You talk about a young man who started the first couple of games, and it was a battle between him and Acario, and to see him come into that moment and rise to how he's been trained, that's coaching, right? Those are the moments that you live for when a young man has that kind of success. But I think it was guys just not doing their job. Like, that's simply what it boiled down to. When you have a leader like Johnny come in, and yeah, it's demanded by the coaches, but it's a little different when you got an alpha like that cat coming in, right? Everybody's level of play they just step up, right? I wish I could tell you that we did something magical schematically. We didn't. We did not, right? We tweaked just some small things in terms of our coverage to help some of our guys, but what that dude brings, man, he's unbelievable. He's absolutely he elevates all of his teammates, guys around. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've never seen nothing like it, and I'm at a loss for words, pretty much just the impact he's had, what he was able to have on a game like that. And obviously other guys around him played extremely good as well, but when there was a time during the game where he came in, and after that first sack, he started rushing, and you got 2 and 3 guys sliding to him. That frees up some people, man, right? You were able to see Kanena get in there and get some. You were able to see Seth Coleman, Gabe back. I mean, Cruz. I mean, it was just really, really special, right? And it was kind of signatured by a player of his caliber coming into the game in the second half.
Aaron, not to make this a Johnny Newton press
Yeah.
conference,
Yeah.
but like it feels like from the outside, the expectations for him in the second half were so high. Like, oh, he's coming back and he'll be able to change the game X, Y, or Z ways. But like beyond his physical ability, why was he able to do that?
You know what? Like, whatever the expectations were for him or for anybody else, like they're like 10 times higher for that young man. Like every day, you should see him practice. I just wish, right, you guys had a chance to just like see him. See him practice. Right, see him practice, man. He practices so hard, and it's just ridiculous. Like the level in which he practices. Games are so easy, and it really is just because how he operates. You know, like that dude is you talk about being intrinsically motivated to be not a good football player, but he want his name on that wall. He want his name on those pillars. You know, like that. Like that's just a different player. You know, when you talk about etching yourself and some of the greats who came through this place, and so he's just driven by something completely different, and it's inside of him. I think it's been in him since he was a child, and he always wanted to be great. And when you see him hit the field, like I'll tell you guys, man, enjoy these last few with him, right? Like I've had the chance to coach a while, and you don't see a lot of talent just pop up like that, man, and able to have that kind of wreck on the game, man. And again, not to make it a Johnny Newton soapbox, but like he elevates the guys around him. Guys around him play to a different level as well. The secondary is extremely confident. You know what I'm saying? Guys in the second half made some plays that they didn't make in the first half, you know, and it was sparked by his play early in getting that sack, you know. And so I think what makes him unique is that, like, there is no such thing as pressure, right, or expectations when it comes to him in regards to, it's like if you're around him every single day, he's just wired that way, man. He walks with that kind of swagger. He eats, sleep, and breathe that way. You know, he knows how good he is, and if you're lying across from him, he gonna let you know how good he is. You know, but that's what you want. Like when you walk into that young man's home, right, and you meet his dad, you kind of see that a little bit, right? But you meet his siblings, and you see why he's extremely confident and he plays the way he plays. Like from a coaching perspective, like that's why we want to recruit a certain type of young man, right? Because that's been instilled in him at home, right? And obviously his coaches kind of help nurture that, but you know, to like he has an awesome family that he came from, and to see that play out on the field, man, it's absolutely, like, I'm in awe sometimes. Just I got a front row seat to it, but it's pretty cool.
Aaron, how big was it for your defense to not allow Minnesota to score the last two times they touched the ball? Not just obviously for the win, but going forward.
Yeah, you know, we always talk about, you know, one of our goals this week was our third goal was to win situational football. You know, we came up short in a couple games, whether it was here or there, or a guy having an opportunity and not making it. And you know, I spent quite a bit of time during the bye week just trying to see how teams were trying to attack us, and I felt like I got some really, really good answers in that regard. And I tweaked some things, and obviously we always want to rush some guys and put guys in one-on-ones, and it was massive though. It was massive. You know, it was I think it was 53 seconds left. They had 2 timeouts. You know, and in my mind, I'm fluttering between, okay, they're in field goal range, right? Are they going to run it, open up a drive? Like, I'm just playing all these scenarios, right, in my mind. And, you know, we have a little session that we go through with Coach every night on Friday night. It's called How to Play the Game. And we, like, literally, like, rehearse these sessions. It's, like, super cool, right? Can get kind of long sometimes, but it's pretty cool. And I've been playing out these situations all throughout my head during the week, and then you get in that meeting on Friday and you see what you like and what you don't like. It's kind of like a dress rehearsal, and then you get into the actual game, right, and you see what works and what was the reason you made that call, and how it allowed that guy to be in a one-on-one. It was like to see it kind of like take place from the Friday night meeting or from the practice field, because we had rehearsed some segments in practice that week, to the Friday night film session with coach, to like in game on the field. Like for me, it was just like, this is awesome. This is awesome to see these young men, right, really kind of rise up in this moment, and obviously good players, right? Kanena making plays at the end, right, when you're able to isolate them. But I just think it was, after you see some over the course of time and see how teams are trying to attack you, you want to make adjustments. And I thought our staff, we made some really good adjustments in that regard.
Indiana appears to be playing their best football right now. What jumps out about their offense?
They're very unique, man. They have elements of triple option or various forms of option. They do a really good job in getting their playmakers the football. I know their new OC, Rod Carey. I mean, he's done a tremendous job in finding ways to get signature guys in their offensive ball. They have very good skill, right? I told our guy, like, forget the record. The record means nothing, right? This is a really good football team. Coach Allen has done a tremendous job with them, right? I know, obviously, they've lost some games, but, right, like any given Saturday, especially this time of the year, right, you can be beat. And everything is obviously magnified when you get to this time of the year. And they present a different set of problems because they just do some very unique things, whether it's an orbit motion or bringing a different personnel grouping in and moving and shifting and trading guys that we have to have really good eyes. We have to be really good tacklers, and ultimately we got to keep everything in front of us and stop the run. Like, I think every team that's had a chance to win has been able to really like eliminate the run game and not allow explosives. So that's going to be massive going into a game like this. And they have game wreckers, right? Guys who can change the game on the offensive side of the ball, and we got to make sure we contain those guys.
Aaron, why on this one here? Aaron, why did you get that second half from Clayton Bush in your mind?
You know what? Like, so every week, right? There's always like a one group and a two group, right? When we go out to practice or whatnot, and like Clayton had been doing some good things throughout the course of the last few weeks, and obviously Nicario was in a rut. He was struggling a little bit, and I'm always trying to find a way to help players, right? How can I help them, right? He's struggling, he's having a hard time, and for most people, right, if you don't have a good relationship with your players and they're struggling and you bench them, it could be turmoil and chaos and people on the outside looking in, and I don't really care about none of that, but I have tremendous relationships with my players. We all got very good relationships with our players, and what kind of alarmed me was, after the first two drives, after every drive, Clayton Bush, along with myself, I'm sitting in front of the secondary, and Clay Bush will be like, "Coach, they did this. We got to make sure we adjust like that." The dude's gonna be a coach one day. He literally said, "Coach, they did this. We got to make sure we adjust like that." All right, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, right?" Like, without saying it, yeah, we gotta. I'm drawing it up. Yeah, we gotta adjust this way. Second drive, right? They got Nicario on something. Hey, he got to make sure he had his eyes in the right spot. Coach, they can come back and do this because they shown it in this previous game. I'm looking at him like, you want the clipboard and the pen, brother? You know what I'm saying? Very intelligent young man, but those little bitty moments, just, I haven't seen them throughout the course of the week, but they kind of showed me, okay, like, this dude is ready for this moment, and we needed a little spark, and dude, he got in, and he provided a surge of energy. He was on point. He was communicating. He graded out really well. Had a really good game, and I think that's just a testament to our room, right? He was in that situation early on in the season, and Nicario had to come in. And I wish I could tell you it's going to be either one of them, but sometimes it's like that. That's, like I said last week, like, that's how life works sometimes, right? Somebody can be struggling, and you got your brother there along the way to kind of help you and pull you out of that rut, and Clayton pulled us out of that rut. Obviously, it helped having Johnny Newton in the second half, but it was such a thing of beauty to see how kind of his teammates, right, how he kind of uplifted Nicario in that setting, right? Like, I mean, you could easily watch a player go down in the dumps, but he kind of uplifted him, right? And then he went on to play the way he did. It was just, it's so many cool moments, man, that obviously you guys aren't behind the scenes, you don't get to see, but That's why we coach.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Kyle.